failing to find the name of that guy who we gambled with.
Godfrey?
That was the dwarf who
that's the guy
loved...
we fought.
He was the... I think She was the one who ran the Thunder Forge Inn, right? Was it the Thunder Forge?
Manuela?
Yeah, so she ran the Thunder Forge, and she had a disagreement with the brewery, the guy who ran the brewery, Twilight Grog Meadery. Wait, I think I found it. Yep, Bofrick Cave Forge. There we go. There it is. He was the one who was offering like 10,000 gold for Hargus's mug.
Oh, so he was in the Undercity?
No, he was in the Twilight Grog Meadery. And he... so you know how our mugs can make any beverage that you've had?
Mm-hmm.
He was totally in love with it because he could try all these rare vintages that he had sampled in his past, and he could summon them from beyond. And so he was in love with the mug and offering obscene amounts of money to Hargus for that.
I thought that was in the Under. You guys were finding like.
No, that's where Jasper left his mug as to sell potentially to those guys. So Syrah gave them 1,000 gold, and Jasper gave them his mug to potentially exchange that. So we'll see if Jasper can get his mug back in a timely manner. He might try and sell it to that Bofrick fellow.
What did my magic longsword end up being? I remember you saying the powers had expanded.
Oh shoot, yeah. I guess we won't know that until he comes back.
Because the description kind of sounds like a sun sword, but it's a sword of the moon or something like that. So it's its own thing.
We may have to wait on our expanded item powers, because I've got the book from that place as well that he was saying had gotten a boost. Oh, jeez, I keep hitting the mic. Come on.
Okay, well, I'm ready if you guys are good to go.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
I'll just add my hit points to Hargus right quick.
There you go.
I'm ready.
Sounds good. Okay, so first, I'm not sure when we'll get done today because Dustin was going to do my downtime and then I was going to do his, and so I'll basically just do you guys, but yeah, we'll just kind of play it by ear. We might start a little early with Scott's campaign or something.
Sure.
We might have to jump around in the timeline a little bit.
Sure. Whatever we want to do.
Flash forward,
Okay,
flash back.
so yeah, so we're going back in time a week to the 12th of late winter, which was a week before Brandbrick's trial, and we're going to handle the downtime there.
Okay.
So that was just 1 week of downtime, and then after that we're going to have 8 weeks of downtime, a couple of months.
Okay. 8 weeks of downtime.
So let's start with you, Jasper. What did you do during that week? You're in Jordsgard,
yeah.
so you have access to all of that. And yeah, what do you do?
All right. Well, the things I can do back in time then. Let's resolve how much money Dakren's got, because you were saying Dakren left his cash back at the Valiant Allies Hall. So,
well, at the inn.
At the inn. Oh yeah, that's right, at the
I
inn,
imagine
because
you guys gave it to Sierra probably. So.
oh, Sierra got
And
the money then.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you guys could have kept the money. Did you want to just keep it, or?
I don't know that it would have occurred to me to give it to him at the time, because Hargus and I are talking about going to make the Dolan's calls to the family. So we were planning on delivering that money ourselves, I think.
Okay, when you told Sarah that Dakren was missing, she said that they handle that, but you're free to like volunteer to do that. But you need to just go to Hardale first and check in with the guild leaders, just because they've got some other stuff of his and like just the paperwork's all there, and so they can.
So that'll be on that side of the mountain kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's probably better to do after this week.
And we don't know how much gold he had there?
Let's just say it was 700. I'm pretty sure it was about 700.
Okay. 700.
Because he won some from his battle in the arena and the Undercity and stuff. And I think that's everything he had.
So that'll have to be Hardale side. What?
Also, just as a reminder, where did I put that? In the Homebrew and Rules channel, there's a downtime activities scroll in case you need ideas.
Well, the other side of things that Jasper was interested in, he'll write a letter to his parents telling them about the situation in Valkstad with the slaver down there, and send that off through the post, trying to get them that information and maybe start running up the chain of command in Copenhagen and see what kind of feedback he can get from them on that sort of thing.
Okay.
And
Hargus is coming from a different place than y'all, and he'll just tell you straight out, money has no ties to me. If I want money, I know where I can go get it.
Sure.
So whatever you need, let me know and let me contribute. I'm more interested in completing our quests and our earnest needs than I am in hoarding money. Let the dragons do that. They're a bunch of foolish old biddies anyway.
I actually, I do tend...
Do you get the gist of what I'm saying?
I do, and I appreciate that very much, actually, Hargus. So, for instance, I guess we'll start with Dakren's family. They've got about 700 gold coming their way. That's, I'd say, a little bit under 2 years' wages for a skilled laborer.
I'll contribute to that. Let's round it up.
Round up to, what do you say, 1,000? They're not going to have anything coming in.
And let's not forget, he had that shield that I gave him.
Yes, but that went with him.
Gained in the shadow.
That went with him, though.
It did go with him.
All of the very expensive magical items went with him into the forest, so it's only the gold on hand.
Well, I'll gladly round it up. He was a failed companion that was dependable in any situation. So.
All right, we'll round up to
a bit melancholy.
Around 1,000 then.
And I think he wiped a booger on my back one time.
He might have. He had that edge on him from the military, no doubt. That they've got that sort of
made him gritty.
Yeah, that abrasive sort of joking manner that they can have sometimes.
At least it wasn't a dead mouse.
All right. Okay, so I'll take off 150 of my gold for that purpose. 12.
I'll do the same.
So you guys are like basically donating to
Yeah.
To Dakren's.
To the widow fund.
Okay.
So
his family's
we'll bring the 1,000, or we'll bring the 700 up to 1,000. Which,
okay.
I mean, that's. I've always played it where a skilled laborer makes 1 gold a day. So.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you look at the lifestyle expenses, I think that's like 1 gold a day is, I think, a modest lifestyle.
Yeah. So it's not royalty, but it's pretty darn good living, and so we're giving them over 2 years' wages in a lump sum. Something like the $100,000 range if we were to do that nowadays, which is pretty good, considering we still have things to do.
That's pretty good life.
Yeah, it's not bad. Okay.
Well, we don't know when we will be back. So the least we can do is ensure their financial well-being.
I agree. Okay. Yeah, I agree, and I don't have any particular interest in gold for its own sake, but I have a feeling it might take more than just the 3 or 4 of us if we ever manage to get Bran back, and assuming he's interested in helping to liberate those gnomes and take down whatever operation they have going in that Underdark area. I don't know what sort of connections that fellow has or how many guards he has on staff, but he was paying those rather well-trained guards to patrol the perimeter. So one of the other things I'd like to do is start working on seeing what the temperament is of the dwarves here. I figured we could talk to the Firebrand nobles around and see what sort of information they could give us on just the stance of that sort of slavery, that sort of underground kind of operation going on in Valkstad, right next door, and if they're comfortable with it, if they are resigned to it, or whatever their disposition is, it'll be hopefully an insight into what sort of reception we're likely to receive in Valkstad itself if we go in there trying to do this sort of thing.
Well, after witnessing the travesty of a trial the dwarves had, you might hear Hargus say something to the effect of, "I think the dwarves started to rot when they left their caves."
Maybe, yeah. They might be turning to pickles in the sun or something. Is that how pickles work? I don't know.
That's pretty good. I don't know. I like it.
But yes. So yeah, perhaps we'll let's go see if we can make an appointment with the Firebrands about this and see if we can talk to someone there and just sort of get a sense of how they think we're likely to. Like, for all we know, if we tell the official channels in Valkstad, they could come out guns blazing and attempt to take out that whole thing. Either that, or their corruption runs to the top and they're well protected politically and influentially from that sort of thing. So worth finding out maybe some information that way.
If you do need to think about it, Austin, I was going to take this week. There's going to be plenty of time. I'll work on the harp. I think we'd agreed there was one rare item that y'all talked about. I don't know if you decided to just let me have it or what.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to resolve for your week so that you can get that. So Jasper, you guys, so this didn't take much time for you to do all of that. Is there anything that you wanted to do for the week itself, like productivity wise?
Just brewing up some health potions. Jasper has all sorts of inventions that he's working on, so he spends most of his downtime working on inventions. You know how that goes. Inventing things is difficult work, and he's got this dream diary thing that he got from a weird shadow plane that shows kind of obscure schematics that he is trying to implement as well, and that sort of things. But for the most part, they're they haven't yielded anything yet, so he's spending most of his time kind of tinkering with that. But So I'd say he doesn't really achieve much productive except he didn't even like maybe 1 or 2 health potions to brew up because I actually added those already from last time. Yeah, so.
Okay, yeah, that costs 25 gold pieces each time.
Yeah, so I took
that,
those off already.
And a day,
Yeah,
so you can do up to 5.
The other thing we were going to do, Hargus, would you like to accompany me to a cleric? The clerics over at the Temple of the Treefather met Dakren before he went missing, and I have an interesting request that it just be sort of a little more information on perhaps Dakren. Yeah. So we'll go over to the Temple of the Treefather where that one priest met the group before we went into the forest, and find that one priest.
Okay.
And if we can flag him down.
Let's go help some trees.
Was the priest like a male?
Male dwarf, female? I believe.
So hard to tell.
This part. Yeah.
I'd have to go back.
This part with.
I think it was a male dwarf.
And of course, I'm working on finishing the harp. I think Flint said he was going to help me.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm not sure if it.
But
I think it was a male dwarf, though.
I mean, there's other priests there, so I could just kind of make one up.
But I'll specifically find the one that that we had met with before, because I need the cleric in question to be familiar with Dakren.
Okay, hopefully I'll remember this part. Okay, so we'll say that he's like a male dwarf, and he's got like leaves, stylistically woven through his beard.
And
you find him at the temple, and he takes a break from what he's doing to go talk with you.
Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Good to see you. So we.
Looking more healthy
a
than
bit.
You were.
Yes, we've thankfully managed to get some healing. Unfortunately, the forest turned out to be a bit more than we were expecting, and some sort of cursed magical item either erased our friend's mind, perhaps switched out his personality with the soul of another person or the brain of another person, or we're not sure exactly what happened, but I tend toward the personality swap situation, just based on...
I was going to say, they don't call it Dead Man's Forest for nothing, but it sounds like you encountered something that possibly worse than death.
Right.
So...
Well, I am familiar with magics that are that can communicate messages with people that you're familiar with, and Dakren was in here with me, and you guys met briefly, but I was wondering if you could send him a message and just see if you can communicate with him, whether and what that would mean if you could or couldn't. Like, if it's his body and his soul, his brain has just been erased, like just the mind wipe, like because he said he forgot everything. But if it is still him being controlled kind of like a puppet from an evil creature, would you still be able to communicate with him? My thought would be yes, you could still communicate with him. But if some other creature had pulled out his soul and stuck its own soul inside of him, would you be able to communicate with him just because you knew the body that he used to be in? Or would you be unable to communicate with him because it's no longer really Dakren? I don't know how that sort of thing works. That's a bit above my...
Well, it's certainly a bit above what I've encountered as well, but I can certainly give it a try. To send a message using the power of the gods, I would have to ask for a donation to the Treefather's coffers of 90 gold pieces.
Of course, 90 gold.
split it. I pull out a
Appreciate
pouch.
that. Yeah. Appreciate that, Hargus.
And Hargus gets bored of the conversation really quick. He's just watching the leaves and listening to them touch each other as the wind goes through them. And he's plucking on his harp quietly, trying to match the tune and follow it, and then embrace it into music.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you know what I mean. He's trying to mimic the sound of the trees whispering.
This is one of the few places in Yord's garden where you can hear the rustle of leaves. Everywhere else it sounds kind of like the tinkle of wind chimes as the gem trees kind of clink against each other. But this one, yeah, it's a very comforting, natural sound. And you play the harp, and a couple of other priests and acolytes just kind of sit and stop to watch, and they kind of close their eyes and listen to your music, and yeah, they enjoy it quite a bit. This priest says, all right, yes, I'm familiar with your friend, and so I will attempt to contact him, and I'll see what happens. He pulls out his holy symbol of the Treefather.
A message, something to the effect of, we...
Yes, that's what I was going to ask. What specific, what would you like me to... You can write it down if you wish, or you can just give me a general idea if you're looking for just sort of a general response. It's up
something
to you.
Like, we're worried about you. Are you still Dakren? Can we get Dakren back? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. His family needs him. 4, 17. So needs him. We will help you. 1, 2, 21. Get what you.
If I get any recruiting, I'm going to reply to any of the priests that come at me. I only make one prayer to the gods, and that is, oh God, let my enemies be foolish. And so far, they've always answered my prayers.
They appreciate your performance in the temple, and you're definitely adding to the natural feel of the temple, and it's very welcome. So they chuckle at your
quip,
at your little quip, and definitely invite you to stay as long as.
All right, I've got the message here. Exactly 25 words, as I believe is required. The message is, we are worried about you. Are you still Dakren? Can we get Dakren back? His family needs him. We will help you get what you want.
All right. I will. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you write it down and
give
it to him, or okay? He gives it to you. He's like, I usually reserve a couple of words just to identify who's sending the message, since it's not me in particular, but I think I can work.
I wouldn't even. Yeah, I mean, if that thing is Dakren, then he'll know you because you guys met, and if it's not Dakren, then it won't matter really, and he just knows it's a third party who's interested in helping him out. I mean, our message is honest, and we'll see if there's any reasoning with it, if it's him or if it's not him, and either way, I guess we'll find out something.
All right, and he pulls out his holy symbol, which is it looks like a circle of wood. It's got like a silver outer edge to it, and then a silver figure of a tree on it. And he holds it, and he raises his head, and he closes his eyes, and he says, and you just kind of hear him whisper, "Oh, Treefather, please take this message to the man called Dakren with whom I spoke earlier." And then you just hear him kind of whispering that message word for word. And he sits there for a second with his eyes closed, and he kind of gets this disturbed look on his face, and he's just like, okay. I received a response. It was a plea for help. I heard confusion in the voice. He seemed to say that he was trapped within a necklace of some kind. I assume that's the artifact that you said. He said unfortunately, I didn't get too much. He seemed kind of urgent, and I've never spoken to someone's magical item for, and so it kind of garbled the message. But he said basically that he was trapped within a necklace. He was aware of you guys. He didn't know how he could get out. He said something about what's wrong with my family just before he cut out. And that's
okay. All right. Well, he's already in a purgatory of necklace imprisonment. Let's not leave him concerned with his family as well. I'll shell out another 45 gold to reassure him on that count.
Same.
At least now we know that it's that I was speaking with the real Dakren and not the individual in his body. It appears that his actual spirit received my message.
Yeah, I can't imagine the thing inhabiting the body would care about the family in any case, or pretend. It has no reason to pretend, really. So I believe we're talking to... You're communicating with him, as you said, I believe. If you could just reassure him that Jasper and Hargus will take care of his family. There's nothing wrong with them. We're just worried on their behalf. Jasper and Hargus will take care of them, and we will try to find you.
All right. I will convey that message.
Much appreciated.
Treefather, take this message to Dakren in his time of need. Hargus and Jasper are okay, and he mentions that, and don't worry about your family. That message was this message is to reassure you not to. Everything will be okay while you're gone. They'll do everything they can. Basically, all that you said. And then he opens his eyes and he's like, the same sort of message. He's relieved that you're okay and that his family's all right. The same sort of thing. He's very confused. He doesn't understand really how he can escape. But he's just glad that that whoever is possessing his body didn't harm you guys. And he said something about a wretch. I don't know if that's the name, if he was calling the person who had possessed him a wretch or something like that. Does that ring a bell?
I'm having trouble parsing my DM knowledge from my character knowledge. Did Dakren ever mention the wretch to us?
I don't think. I mean, he mentioned. You would hear it, he would mutter it to himself every once in a while.
Certainly didn't explain it to us, huh?
But I would imagine that you guys would just kind of think that was just sort of one of his
almost
quirks.
Like a curse that he muttered.
Mutter that to himself. And so, if anything, that definitely proves that it's the real Dakren. and that kind of reassures you and everything. But that's
all right. Well, that pretty much confirms what we suspected, Hargus.
That doesn't make me feel better.
It's really awful.
I feel
really
kind of powerless
very
here.
Terrible.
Although I could probably, we could probably spend some time in observation of the dude. He's here in the city.
I just don't. Can we get some clarification on that too? Because I thought I heard that was more Dustin just saying.
I don't think you guys have.
I don't think
you guys have seen him in the city. The last time you saw him was in the forest. I think one of you might have thought you saw him in town.
Yeah, I think Dustin was just throwing some spaghetti at us.
But it was a very brief.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, I think it was a very brief thing where you maybe thought it was him, but didn't see him again. And so,
I got a question.
You can definitely sort of assume that he definitely might be in town. You can't imagine him living out there in the forest or whatever. But there's no actual proof. So what was your question?
It's a thought of a plan. First, I'll check. I know if anybody has a location spell. I don't know. I know we are all gifted to somewhat, but I don't personally have a location spell. And is there a wizard's guild where perhaps we can...
Right. I just did an Arcana check. Yeah. Scrying. 750. It is. There's the possibility. That was one of the things we were hoping for. Is there's someone out there who has another magical item that? Because we're gonna run out of funds. While I say I'm not interested in hoarding, there's a lot of things needs to go toward. It is too. I know there's a chance. Lamont might be the way to go. Yeah, we could probably track one. Yeah, it's pretty high level magic, I know. Well, it was 3 and now it's 4. So this is technically before the level ups because it doesn't consume. Well, we know it's here. It's here. Here's an option in case it is hard to resist. If we don't find anything that 50 gold that could have gone Dakren's family. Absolutely. Maybe we'll see. Get him back eventually. We'll go and say some prayers to the tree on you. Plant a seed from my home forest and... What's what? Oh, yeah, those are cool. I built the whole character around those seed pods. Conjuration wizard. He'd conjure a big, giant version of that he would use as a parasail. Yeah, because minor conjuration, you can conjure... It's a forever summon of up to a 5-foot cube. So he'd conjure this. He was a little guy too. So, the other thing I'd like to do is talk to the Firebeards about that we found in Volkstadt and see if we can get kind of stance on it. Just trying to get a sense of what the officials are like. Do the officials know about it and turn a blind eye because it's not dwarves? Are they getting paid off? Are some people working again? Or is it really truly unknown by the majority? Maybe get some official help on our side. I don't want to start a war with Volkstadt necessarily because they're all actually in cahoots with these guys. But I don't want to. But Jasper will. But I don't want to. How covert to do it? I don't think we ever met an actual representative. The two people we talked to were kind of the almost shunned members of their respective house. Yeah, but because they did get the appointment, so they are the official. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're back. Go ahead. After Brand's trial. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So I'll just spend the rest of my time working on my very practical. Definitely not. Spending the rest of your time with your harp. No, I think we lost you, Austin. The big freeze. Oh, hey, there you go. We can see you great, but you're very quiet. Oh, there you go. Yep, that's good. It's very strange. The blush of youth. Love a good nose. This bad boy. Oh, too soon. Is this Hargus telling us lore over dinner? Is that... How dead is he? Because the last place that was the Forest of the Dead really bad. So is this like a dead city full of dead other monster thing? I wonder what happened to the dragon. Was the city the... Yeah, it was the city. where the survivors, where the evil armies were from, the dragons did. Whose side were the dragons? Well, that was it. So it was a good city, but the silver dragon related to Halas and the granny might, I would assume. I mean, I know dragons get rid for a dragon. Granny, she's quite grumpy, winking at you. That would be something. It's just us for the rest of the night. No, I don't know. No, I was about to check. We'll see if he's gonna try and fix it. Yeah, he's trying to fix the. So you don't have any plans after we get this trial thing wrapped up? Looks like we'll have some time to ourselves. My future sense tells me we'll have about 8 weeks to play with. I imagine. Which one? Oh, a bigger level 4. I've heard my parents talk about spell. Yeah, I heard my parents talk about spell levels and things like that, tricks and all. I don't do magic, so I don't understand. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that would be impressive. There's like a wizard who knows it all already but refuses to do it unless he's able to work it into form. Yeah. Well, the nature of, words of power and being magical and able to affect the nature of the idea that language is power and is probably the most original concept of Yep. Yeah, I know the Celts had a very similar, that's why they saved so many books during the so-called Dark Ages. Anything there is a book of nonsense. Here it is. Wow. Interesting. Ancient library assassin. Yeah. How you doing? Seems to be working quite well. There's a reason I put it. So. Brandbreck? No way. Yeah, sound a little bit. I think you may have to be a little bit closer to reduce kind of the tinny. It's slightly. Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah. He said he's just here to listen for a little bit. That's pretty good. Yeah, you're coming in pretty well. Hey, buddy. Chipping away at it, I think. You missed us. We messaged. We went to a cleric and got him to do a sending spell. And it communicated with Dakren's soul. And he told us he's trapped in a necklace. And that he's powerless to help. Yeah, basically just kind of confirm. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think Dustin's an offer the wretch might have been that time. I didn't even think about that. Put him in a necklace and then double down on his deal with the wretch to get him out of it. That's sinister. Oh no. Did you turn off your camera? You're back. Right. Yeah. No, he would never do done him dirty. I'm sure that would have just. Ooh. Speaking of which, you got to shoot Austin the boosts that our items got. That'll be. Hasn't happened yet. Yeah, I think we're done with advantage because Flint is helping. I want to play one of these one day. I've got a thing for the short races. I don't know what it is. I always want. They're just hilarious. It'd just be such a fun race to play. Oh. You can take 'em. You are Hargus the Bold. Hargus the Brazen. Be aware that is a very good spell to use. Yeah, throw it outside. Always forget them. Flint's so positive. Oh. Yeah, he's thinking about the counter charm. It just happens. The effects. And you can't move. So you can still make ranged attacks. Yeah, you can still make ranged attacks and you can still cast spells. The irony of Hargus being... the irony of Hargus being forced to dance is not lost upon me. Dragons? Lean into it? Yeah. Arcane Man. He's already got one up for his own. Hit that damage. Get that damage, boy. I said get that damage. It's not. Ooh. Yeah, the korred just saw you coming towards him, so didn't want you to keep coming towards him. Made you dance and play. Yeah, exactly. He saw that look in your eye. He knew what you were doing. Yep. He takes it lightly when Hargus starts sucking up on him. Ice beam. Oh no. It chose such a good song. Oh man. Turns out Flint has cutting word. Or does he? 50-foot gorge. That's a big jump. I think you would know problematic. Magic is racist. Magic is... Ooh, challenge. Challenge. Drum off. Hopefully some sick drumming is what's coming out. A walking jig. What do I do with this? He's just done with it. Lowering to... Oh, no, it's the rock monster. It's the rock monster that rolled away, Hargus. The drummers... Yeah, the drummer's kind of somewhat intrigued. You seem... Play it, boy. Oh, dang! Oh, dang! Okay. I said too soon, and I meant it. Be cool. One more, Hargus. One drum solo to rule them all. Yeah! Yeah, plus 8. Yeah. I think that doesn't always work out well. Yeah, that sounds like a good... A rock star. Magical. Dumb, yeah. It's a full character sheet. As it should be. As it should be. It's a dance, right? Oh, okay. Gotcha. With the shag. Shuffled in with the shag. Of the shag apocalypse. That's very impressive looking. Dakren's... Dakren? Yeah. Yeah. So you finished your first week too. Yeah. He got that VIP jail. He got that... Right. I don't think first... did you have something before we moved on, Hargus? Yeah. Dakren? Right. I hope so, Hargus. I think we might need to take... I think you're right. I think we might need to take a bit more of an active role in making that happen. Whatever that thing is that took over, Dakren probably doesn't want to. Hopefully, well, it might be the... Yeah. Once we talk to once... Yeah, is Sierra going to be staying here then, continuing to set things? So I mean, we've just information leading to probably people from you can a 0 bounty if dead, but armed and dangerous information for... Sure. The painting is missing. Sierra, did you... What? All right, Bran. Jasper's just rubbing his temple. I'm not saving him this time. If he's gone off... Yeah. Well, there's... When he'll be back... Yeah, his body is alive. His soul is trapped inside of a necklace. And the thing that took over his body is probably not going to be sending money back to his family. And probably doesn't plan on returning Dakren control of his body anytime. So the money is going to, our efforts to track him down will have ongoing. Pretty much. Right, sort of what happened to you. Right, but I mean, you had a body swap, so... Right, so hey, Lamont... We're very funny. We're very funny people. Lamont has a scrying mirror, maybe to help. Yeah, so we're going to use him to try and scry on Dakren's location as well. I don't know if that's going to take many... that could help find out info. So we are headed back to Hardale. There's stuff to do along the I'd like to talk to Yord's Garden, see if these Firebeards give me a little information about what to do here. And I have to have a conversation with Flint, Dakren's condition could be part of your research. I see what you're saying, because it's similar to your condition. All right, sure. The thing that took over. Wait. Oh, Bran. I see what you're asking. Right. Evil Dakren. I suppose Evil Dakren is pretty on the nose. I mean, we could just go with... we could just stick with Dakren. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Was it Nerve Dad? No. The backwards. Bizarro Superman. Bizarro Dakren. Yeah. But yeah, some of our time could be spent definitely looking into that. No, I don't think. I mean, if either Bran or the fell spirit within gets super meta. Yeah, if you're doing research on that sort of thing, that could certainly help. How that sort of thing might be reversed is probably going to come into play if we ever encounter Dakren's body again. Yeah, most of my errands are things to do on the way back to Hard. Speak with the Firebrands here. I want to... Do you guys remember Bofric Cave Forge, that exuberant fellow we gambled for the Thunder Fort? He was very... From those fellows back in Valkstad, I could perhaps, get a fairly large chunk of chain of Bofric. The enchanted mugs that fill up with any beverage you want. Bofric. I missed that was Bran talking and not Dustin talking. I thought for a second it was just Dustin. Yeah, take a look. We got these out of a weird... we tell him the whole... everything we can remember, at least, of the traveling bar that never sleep. And show him... It had its moments. Luck out, I don't... Yeah, Right. So he pulled that out of it, and the mug, and I had a mug, and I got this journal, diary, magic. It must be magical. The pictures within sort of change over. Oh. And as I'm showing through, showing all the things like, oh, that's new. So, like I said, they just show up in there as... Okay. So that was advantage on Arcana? Just Arcana, or was there another one that I... Gotcha. Very open to it. Nice. Oh, man. It kind of dissipates. That's awesome. You got advantage on all your performance checks now. No, that's the best. That's perfect. Wow. That's impressive. I know. The curses and the blessings shall balance out. Oh, there you go. Yeah, maybe get... Yeah, get that grumpy shadow a date. Makes sense. It checks out. All right. So, yeah. Right. Very cool. Yeah, so I show Bran that and excitedly show the new... Oh, that's actually quite handy. This is good. I never had a good memory for the magical things, so it'll be nice if this thing apparently magically sting. It's kind of like a useful... What? No, I don't. That's my point. I could never... I guess Flint and I... Right. All right. Are you sure you're not confusing alchemy with magic? Because alchemy technically isn't magic. It's just a series of chemical reactions that produce effects that to the untrained eye seem magical. So, are you sure you're just not... I mean, like, watch, you'll do a little fire thing, a little bit of alchemical fire bursts up. And it's just an alchemical reaction. It's not magic. Potions? I mean, I actually the gnomes always say that that the bards, the gnomes always said that the world was sung in instance, and that was the first magic and voice and well, I suppose that's possible, but yeah, that's what the story of the creation of the world is with the gnomes. That each race was its own strand of music and that well, I mean, it's a good story. It's a good story at the very least. What? It does sound familiar, actually. No, that does sound familiar. Goats are good. Are you gonna be? Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's part of the question. Where are you gonna be doing, Bran? So will you be moving sequentially back? Oh yeah. Oh no, no, we took care of that too. Oh yeah, no, we got. It's actually where the that stupid painting is from too. I can't believe you live with you. Yeah, that's yeah. What is it about the last experience that would give you any sort of belief in that? But you've got no idea what happened. You want to go back? All right, all right. Well, yes, so I imagine you'll be staying in Yord's garden for some time, trying to find her whereabouts as kind of priority number one. Right. Well, before we leave here, I'd like to speak to the firebrands, and I don't know what level of involvement. Firebeards, sorry, um, that's probably true, I hope. But I'd like to speak with them and see what, and maybe you have some info on this, to try and figure out what the disposition of the people in Valkstad, the dwarves there, those in charge, is likely to be about the existence of the underground slaving operation run by a demon, perhaps? Sort of infernal. Oh, right, you were there. That, yeah, yeah, we we tell him about all that. Yeah, tell him about. She wanted, she wanted to gamble. Anyway, so yeah, gnomish slaves, and yeah, it burns slightly. um, I mean, yeah, what's the disposition of the people who run Valkstad? The dwarves in general. Do they know about the slaving and don't care? Are they paid off? Some few. What's the deal? Or yeah, sure. So, so cut to the quick though. The officials aren't going to do anything to stop it if we try and raise a stink with the officials there. It's against slavery, is against the law, but it's an underground, so no one's going to officially try to stop it. So other side of the coin. And what if the people in charge of the slave wind up? What happens then? All right, fair enough. It seems like a gather intel, cut off the head of the snake. Good, good. So setting the stage for that sort of operation is probably going to be something. I don't know if you guys want to be involved in that. But Hargus is going in after those fellows something you might, once we get all of our information gathered about. We want to go in and attack these slaves. Appreciate it. Well, just making sure that you're still on board with that sort of thing. A bit more of a focused strike than Flint. You're pretty new to this as well, so it'll take preparation and gathering from something maybe your contacts could help with, Bran, or I don't know if you think someone at the Firebrands would be unhelpful to alert anyone else, and we want to keep this as quiet. Fair enough. Right. Okay. So, okay. It sounds like if we're gonna start chipping away at downtime, I need to have a conversation with and get down to some of the nitty gritty on this magic stuff. So he'll start laying out, like going through and trying to sort out the different. I mean, there's some things he knows are purely alchemical. Wood alcohol lights on fire. Some things get into the grays, and some herbs are reduced down to kind of an innate magic that from a refined herbalism, like the healing potions. It's alchemy but when it gets to literally all of his inventions, he's telling you how he makes like a combustible arrowhead on the tip of this shaft of wood, and how when he fires it off of the bow, it ignites due to friction and bursts into flame, and then the mote of fire comes off the edge of it and the shaft of the arrow on the ground nearby. off, and he's showing you all these things, just going, see, it's the same concept. It's just, it's just a reaction that happens. No, but that's my point. It's like saying that lighting a piece of paper on fire is magic. That's not magic. That's just the way paper works when you put it in fire. And he puts a mechanical gizmo ball and like winds it up. And then chucks it at the target dummy so it hits on it and starts bouncing around. It's like that's just gears and springs so that after it collapses back in on itself, it charges up and bounces back again. Yeah. So the magic balls. Good call. Good call. Oh, sure. Yeah, right. Yeah, so he hands you only one way to find out. So yeah, he hands you his bow. He hands you his bow and his quiver of arrows, and he's like, the ones with the red tips, those are fire. The ones with the black tips, those ones with the spider venom. I don't know how you'd see. Yeah. And he runs over and he grabs. Yeah, he grabs his gizmo ball, comes back, tucks it on the little hook on the side, and he'll just bright red on the tip and burst into flame, maybe 30 feet, the shaft. But as the shaft drops and hits the ground, the mote of fire from the tip just can off and hit the target. Very simple, very simple. So he hands you the... Do you have any experience with longbows? Yeah? Okay. Yeah? No? Okay, so you, I got news for you. He's not. No. Yeah. So it's a thin, looks like a quarterstaff. It's about his height. So when you pull it, you notice the draw strength is probably like 5-10 pound draw. And so you pull it back and it's like a child's toy on a draw strength. And you're just like, eek, and you let go of it. And it flings this, roughly carved shaft about 20-30 feet forward. And it goes like, boom, like hits the ground. No magical effect. Did you get the tip of it onto the edge of it? It's got to rub against the shaft of the bow to get the friction on there. It's friction. I mean, practice, trying to do it. So it's not, I guess, not surprising that you. I mean, I usually prepare just to have on hand. I usually prepare to have about 1 or so of them, but I mean, I could make as. It just becomes carrying. How many arrows do I want to carry at that point? Mm-hmm. I usually 6 or so. I usually make just because they're a bit bigger. And he pulls out one of the sparkly ones, and you can see they're a bit time consuming. That's why I spend so much time in the evening preparing them. I mean, okay, sure, I could do that. Yeah. Okay. But he gets the gizmo ball. He holds the gizmo ball. Yeah. All right. So he goes in. How it works is you stick your thumb in and you give it a good twist, and that gives the initial spring in there charge, and then you just throw it at the target, and it'll set off the reaction with those little pressure buttons along the side. Mm-hmm. With your expertise on it, you'll see it resembles in a lot of ways like a clock. It does have a spring. The amount of damage that you've seen this thing do, there's no way that the spring force in there could cause that amount of damage. And like when it's in your hand, it feels, relatively well constructed, but it's kind of literally just a big spring in the middle, and then the buttons on the side are just like a hook or a little bit of tiny hooks, these different things to try and get it to catch onto like person's clothes and hook on and hopefully start bouncing off to. So, but you can crank it. Yeah. You saw this thing hit with the force of like, a club, a baseball bat, like bashing people in the head. And, the actual force about this would be something like the hands of a ticking clock or something, probably. It might snap and you might go, ooh, but, ow, that, right. Give it to Chuck and it'll, yeah, no. All right, sometimes it doesn't work. What's that? Oh, that would be depressing. Oh no. So now, you guys, with your detect magic, you look at Bruce, and Bruce is like glowing with this innate magic, and he is, just kind of a beacon of. He is a small creature. Yeah, he is a small creature, and I mean, yeah, of course he is. He's just a very friendly little chat with him. Right, right. Do they use phlogiston in Copenhagen? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So Jasper's like, oh, of course. I mean, that makes complete sense. You're an artificer. Like my family's artificing. That's how magic. I just, I mean, but I just don't see how that could on purpose though. You don't. It doesn't just happen. You don't just accidentally do magic. You had to invent that thing and create it. They spend months crafting items, imbuing it with the magical power that'll make it work. Hargus had to hone his skills. It doesn't just happen on accident. It's not an oopsie, I do magic. No. Mm-hmm. Well, of course I am. Yeah, of course. And yeah, as you guys were watching him fire those arrows, you heard him like mutter a little prayer under his breath each time. He's like, "Oh, Treefather, guide my arrow." Fire it off. um, I, I guess we could try that. I'm not sure. Draws back one of the fire arrows. Okay, so I don't want it to work. I don't want. Can see he kind of wants it. I don't want it to work. I don't want it to work. And he fires off the arrow in normal draw, and it goes and drops on the ground. And yeah, yeah, yeah. He's just kind of looking at. Yeah. Well, and the next week is spent trying to figure out how to do that stuff a different way, which I kind of figured would be some Arcana checks, relearn. Your detect magic then would, I mean, like, between I guess the two of you, because you both use arcane focuses and stuff like that. You eventually see the end components. Yeah, so you could see then between the two of you, between the bow staff, which is basically an arcane focus, and a few actual components for like the shatter bomb that he used. It's got this mica core, and he perforates a mica piece to create the shatter when he throws it. And between actual components, the things, and a lot of using the bow as an arcane focus, and then the verbal components of these prayers that he got from the prayer book that his parents had when he was found, that all kind of combine. The one thing you eventually find out, Bruce the Bat is a very special type of, it allows, Jasper seems to impose, but Bruce himself is pivotal material component of that. If Bruce were to die, Jasper would not be able to. Whereas things like, and that's, I only say that because they took Shadow Spawn off of the Sorcerer spell list when they actually released official. So he had that, and then he lost it. And Bruce the Bat is, so if Bruce ever dies in combat, and we're unable to revive him, then Jasper won't be able. But all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he does know common sorcerer spells, and yeah. And you can see he's not. Yeah, he's actually not hopeful. He's not hopeful. He's actually pretty depressed. Like with every revelation where he finds out it wasn't an invention, it was magic that did it. You can see he's a little more disappointed when all is said and done, and it turns out he's never invented any. He can't even walk in the shadow of his adopted parents with his little inventions. He's pretty bummed out. Yeah. So that if the first part of the week is spent, he's looking at jars of bugs that he has been getting acid and venom and slime off of. Yeah, he's looking at a small cricket farm that he carries in a box. The countless hours spent crafting these crappy wooden shafted arrows every night. just like mulling over the, almost undefinable amount of time that he's. In shock. Yeah. Yeah. What's it? So, the actual mechanical things. Want to get somebody, maybe one of Brand's contact. I want to get somebody monitoring the folks at Barbaros's, get an idea of guard movements, guard numbers, number of people inside the place, rundown of the information Barbarous about what kind of fence in preparation. Correct. Yeah. Oh, oh man, that's a long time. Oh, one last thing before before gives on his magic lessons week. We're going through every single item, and he's like, he holds up his wand of conducting. This one's magic, right? Yeah. The telescoping staff. This one's magic, right? Thank you. Clockwork amulet, magic, right? Dream diary. I assumed. Yeah, I assumed that one was. Bag of fuzzballs. I mean, that one was pretty. And he's going through stuff, and as he's like pulling his vest apart and everything, there is the stained glass puzzle piece there. Does Flint notice that being magical? Because you've got detect magic. Oh no, we pick up magic. All right, buddy. All right, man. Well, hey, we got you a beautiful new harp. So, yeah. You do. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The time the timeline is preserved. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, when he's like literally got his entire inventory laid out in front of you, just checking what he actually moving forward and what he doesn't. No. Brissa's puzzle piece necklace be evident. He's been wearing it, around his neck this whole time, just kind of keeping. Just didn't know if that would show up as magic. Gotta. Right. I appreciate it. I just wonder if I'm the basics, but with more steps. It's just odd to have when you're trying to do things based on. You try and make your parents proud, right? Direct translations you losing. But if you go for the spirit of the city of the home of place where study and intelligence, the work of your hands creates, allow the gnomes to have a place. Give us. I could never do. I could never do what my parents could have the head, and I thought maybe I was it from a different angle, but still with my own mind and some intelligence, and maybe just required a few more sticks and a few more bugs to. Whatever it is, it wasn't that. Go to the Treefather and, well, I'm gonna the slugs. Apparently, well, to do some experimenting. I mean, I'm keeping the crickets just for good snacking. You don't throw away good snacks. That's crazy talk. But well, they might be. I like I said, I'll spend some time here experimenting to see what I need to do to actually. But the stink bugs, yeah, the fire beetles, the snails, the spiders, the lightning bugs. Probably let most. I'll keep Montgomery, of course, my praying mantis. Yeah, we'll see. After I get my experimenting done. All right. Again, thanks, Flint. So, yeah, I'll. That's what I figured. It's going to take at least a week of trial and error to see what Jasper actually needs to do to cast all this. I sorted it out. I was like, yeah, there's a number of Arcana check. So, all right. So before we move on, getting Dakren's money, not a problem. Talking to Firebeards about Barbarous, probably not going to talk to the Firebeards. Between Bran, Jasper, can we hire someone to go basically stake out and investigate? Or would that stake out investigation thing be part of our down? Okay. I feel like it's less a carousing thing is like, finding a very reliable operative or doing it ourselves. I've got two from the guild. Basically, it was just Lamont and Orsky, though. Those are the only two people I dealt with there. Okay. If we could arrange for that. I see what you're saying. I've got two stink bugs named Pepe and Penelope. I could give you three weasels. They don't last very long. Yeah. No, I feel like we tell him just the whole story, everything. But yeah, Gary, Greg, Gavin, Gabe, and Gus are my snails. They're very well behaved. Vic, Valerie, Veronica, and Vanessa are my spiders. They're not both concentration? Right. No concentration? Wow. Sounds good. I be very cautious, though. Certain he has some sort. They hired some very elite guards to. We're basically looking for all the information about. Very good. Appreciate that. Yes. We're just spying and murdering each other. Christrid V brand spy for posterity. Okay. Got it. Yep. Good. How much is Bofrick Cave Forge offering for? He's the guy Hargus's. I think he got it up to 10,000. All right, let me check that up. On the way back to Volkstad or Hardale, it was pretty up there. I'm gonna try and find Brissa and then get my mug back on that one. Evaluating it's the entity that took over had no so he didn't know anything about the guild or us or any. He won't have memory of the guild. Sierra back there, the knows I don't know what you would call him, imposter. You're gonna save on the funeral. We'll just give her the money. As I said, he doesn't know anything about his family, so he doesn't know where they are. Yes. No, we'll tell him the 700. But we were gonna add to it. Maybe and Hargus and I will break the news. A thought occurs. Did you know Chester well on the first mission? Did he have family? We only spoke for. Yeah, it was he coming back, but how are they situated? I'm embarrassed that it Dakren, a lot, but Chester more. Yeah, Chester's family. It's embarrassing that I think of it. Okay. I guess I'll add that to my. Please. So does Bofrick, did we have that memory? I thought it was something, because he's there for that magic, remembering the past drinks he's had for another soul exgram. Potential to go, I'm not sure I want back, but okay, well, that's very interesting. Yeah. So I'm not sure if, yeah, sure. It's a heavy mist and an, okay. So when he tries to get it back from the people in the underground, all right, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. Decide what I wanted another time, but yeah. He likes Bofrick better than these guys, so if he's going to sell it to anybody, he'll sell it to the guy who appreciated it because it gave him good wine and good whiskey that he hadn't been able to taste in a very long time. So if he's going to sell it to anybody, yeah, sure, that's cool. I think he said 10,000, because, well, he offered like 1,000 to Hargus, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, and he just wanted to be able to keep drinking those rare brews from. Yeah, that seemed his big motivation. Okay, so I got the Stein back, and then last thing is trying to find Brissa, and then of course meeting with Dakren's family. Oh yeah, and we'll give him the tapestries. I figured these. Crime doesn't pay, Bran. It's not accurate. I was in that courtroom. Guilt or innocence had nothing to do with the ruling that was passed down. There's one thing I knew from that. But yeah, no, we figured these tapestries could go. Yeah. We did. Right. So, yeah, we are going to give them the 2 tapestries, the 500 gold. We are going to pay them 40. Yeah, the dragon tapestries. Well, you could buy them off the guild, I suppose, if you want to pay the guild for them. I think they'll look great in the guild hall. They look really cool. Right. Yeah, we sold those. Yeah, we got all that in the gold divvying up last time. And we were just going to use the tapestries as the 10%, not pay them as much gold, and keep the tapestries. Nah, they're prestigious. They're prestigious. Well, they didn't. They should have sent us a worded note that said, in memory of our love. For sure. Yeah. And this is the closest thing we've got to a permanent location / home. So, well, maybe we should have left it in the new offices. Oh, yeah, we'll take a picture. Magical picture taking. Minor illusion and They put a tracker. They put a tracker on the tab. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Your new girlfriend. Now it's a love square. Now you got... He's like, oh, yep, gotta do it. Gotta do it for Bran. Right up your alley. I give him the thumbs up as we walk by. That's my dude. I give him a pouch of crickets as I go by. Here you go. Little baggy, little to go baggy. No, they're seasoned and crisped. Yeah. I've got me on week. They wrote ah. So the second letter, yes, as his heart sinks into his boots, so depressed. It's the darkest timeline. Just so depressed. As he's super depressed even as he finishes the first letter because he knows what the next two letters are before. So it's early spring and it was late winter. So what? I missed her by like a week. Yeah, just twisting the knife. A strange sound from a neighboring room that kind of came up. It started with like a slow, methodical thunk, thunk, and then towards the end it got to a slightly more fervent thunk, thunk as Jasper's smacking his head against the back wall. Had a date. Looking for something heavy to throw. Do you have something heavy I could... Nah, it's too... He kicks the bed. It's too heavy. You can't reverse time, can you? Do you have a... Where's this island? What's this island? You heard of this? What is it? Islands. Where are the ivory... Baseline. Bran's like, the Ivory Islands. I built those with my bare hands. I'm the king of the Ivory Islands. Yeah, he did. No, he did his fifth grade Elvish history lesson was on the Ivory Islands. So he did a diorama, a local dance, knows the island bird. I mean, you probably succeed. Jasper's so excited. He's oh, passive insight. Oh, passive insight's nothing to speak of. I rolled really well though. I got a 19 for my, because I have a +0, but I got a 19 on. But yeah, he's just. I mean, it makes sense though, because he's staring at you in the face. He's like, I mean, funny, but seriously, where are they? What's wrong? Why? What? Right. So I guess, and the things that happened there. So I guess the next thing that happens is that Jasper goes to find the Ivory Islands now. But I think scrying was, yeah, scrying with Lamont, I think, would be maybe the last thing. I just don't want to talk about it. Dustin's like, I'm okay with my character choices. He might, yeah. He might, yeah. Yeah. Stop there on the way, goes. Jasper's looking into how long it takes to sail to the Ivory Island. Oh boy, it was a lot. How much do you want to know? You can. I recall you've got that scrying. Yes. We can still communicate with him. Do you know this? Oh, all right. Well, if you ever want to talk to him, he's necklace. Unpleasant. Mm-hmm. So you do see Dakren. The necklace is Dakren's in Yord's garden. Man, he's been in there. The one he went in when he describes it, is that the one added to his cannot? Oh, so yeah, you'd have to resub. Right. So he is. Wow. So he is going back into Yord's garden for supplies occasionally. So he might have been there. What about a sword? If he was talking, he's muttering to it? Yeah, you can for sure. Forsooth, good sir, we sally forth into the forest, ha! Like that. But was it Dakren's mouth moving? Was it Dakren's mouth moving every time? Hargus and I are gonna... Yeah, Hargus and I, at least, I don't know if Brand's interested. Hargus and I, we're gonna tell them the truth. Tell them we're gonna... If they see him show up on the doorstep, I don't hope so, just in case. It seems like they don't have any memory of Dakren. That, at least, they won't be interested in finding his family. But we're gonna tell... We intend to see what her living situation is. Yeah. In situations of body snatching where the body of person A is actually alive, but the soul is incapacitated in either vessel A or vessel. And people will ask after you sign up for the policy, they'll like, did you sign up for the possession rider for you? Because if you don't get that possession rider, honey, I got to tell you, I can't tell you. No, I had a cousin. Who was possessed, and he went out and he killed like 7 people, and the town's guard took him down. They denied his claim because they said he was possessed, but it was still his. Yeah. New campaign is just D&D court. It's just all D&D magic court. Now, Your Honor, I'm just a small town lawyer, but I know the face of a man possessed by a demon when I see one, and that man was not possessed by a demon when killing my client's duck. He was in his own mind. Yeah, the Matlock suit, the long Colonel Sanders tie. Yeah, it's gonna be all courtroom dramas. My next arc, so prepare yourselves. I mean, it would have to. Yeah. Well, and do they get into not perjuring yourself? Like, do you have to testify? Does the cleric actually know if you fail or pass the save? Is kind of a point too. It doesn't expressly say. Yeah, zone of not lies. Yeah. Kind of combined. Hey, you know what? No one would expect it. I think that's part of the... I didn't say find the truth. I said confess. I suppose confess doesn't necessarily mean you're truthfully confessing. Yeah, it gets tricky. You gotta bust out the thesaurus. Yeah. Now, Your Honor, to be fair, the Inquisitor told my client they did not tell my client to tell the truth. Thrown out on mistrial. Oh, boy. Yeah. I know, gosh. Downtime. Yeah. 23rd? Oh, the 3rd of... Okay. Be okay by me. Right. They are legion. A wife in every point. I'd say Hargus has either been married countless times or never once. There's nothing in the middle. It's like literally he's like lost track. Oh, yeah, sure. Well, it's like gets into Firefly land. He'll be back one day. It's like reminds me of Firefly. Like, does Hargus consider it marriage? Like, marriage rituals can vary. And remember, did you guys watch Firefly? No? Oh my gosh. So Firefly is so good. It was the movie to end the series, yeah. It's okay. That's unfortunately how I did it too, because I had never heard of the show, and then I saw Serenity on TV and I watched it and I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah. So the movie is good. The show is great. And the comedy, the development of the characters, really excellent storytelling is something that, there are elements of any DM from watching this series, just from start to finish. Great storytelling, great characters. Anyway, not to entice you into maybe a little bit of actually seeking it out and watching it. They do a job. They help this little town out. The town doesn't have a lot of money, but at the end of it, the town throws them a great party, and they all have a great party. And at the end of the party, they're all getting back on the ship after this wonderful party, and this woman is on the ship, and the captain is like, I'm sorry, it's time for you to go. And she's like, we're married, I can't. And he's like, what? And so he's like, we didn't get married. And there's a guy on the ship who's kind of a priest, and he's like, actually, I'm curious, I did see you dancing. He's like, yeah, we danced. And he's like, her head. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And then she gave you a drink of wine. And he's like, I mean, yeah, yeah. Around the fire. And he's like, yeah. He's like, that's the marriage ceremony here. He's like, a pretty girl put a flower on my head and gave me a drink. I ain't married. And yeah, it's a great show. 8 weeks is pretty substantial, but hey, good luck through that with me around. Right. Yeah, so I'm still on week 4. At least I've got myself on week 4 for week 5. Yeah, right. Well, I guess for week 5 then, we'll spend it visiting Dakren's family. There and back again, right? It's probably a couple days down. I did a week down to Morn. Or it's not Morn Blossom. That is a long time. No, you gotta visit Swanbow. No, that's good. It's 2 weeks. Well, boy, 2 weeks, that's a long time. All right, well. Yeah, so I'm thinking I might do a big loop. Yeah, we'll hit Swanbow, then I'll go to White Fork to meet Chester's, and then back up to Valkstad, or back up to Copenhagen on the way up. Well, yeah, how long, I guess, that was definitely the first thing. I mean, if it's a month of travel, then it's probably not practical travel. So yeah, that would put it outside. No, I've only got 3. Meet me on the islands, bitches. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. And dude, oh, I mean, sure. I don't think we're gonna run into Jack. He's pursuing his journey through the misty forest to try and get to the center of the misty forest where he wanted to. Yeah. I'll do the loop. Dakren's family, Chester's family. Just make sure they're okay. Thank them, and if you wanna, but we're just giving them our thanks. Yeah, we just want to. Yeah, I think that'd be good. And spend the rest of the time with my parents, talking to them about magic and the nature of it, and just kind of like stuff. Really, I'd say the prayer with the Treefather and that probably made it clear. The power was cut. He's not a cleric. We haven't really established how prevalent are in this divine souls. I kind of figured it was that retraining week was spent like in both of those, a lot of prayer, but it could be kind of spread out through or condensed into. Okay. Natural 20. Natural 20. I can take a picture of it. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. So yeah, total of 23. Wow, I sprout wings. Whoa, that's fun. Yeah, so I guess the Treefather is communicating that he's doing this, kind of rewarding me. Yeah. Well, I feel like it's almost like the Treefather's like, you had to come along and be pulled away from this other way. The rock gnomes are great, and the artificing is great and all, but that's not how I do things. And you don't have, what's that? A fanatic. Treefather's great, of course. Why wouldn't you love the Treefather? He's amazing. Have you been in a forest? They're great. I thought you were an elf. You should love you should love forests. I mean, not dead ones. That's not. The dwarf is seeping into you. The war. But yeah, and then, and I guess yeah, as soon as she said she was going on there, tried to get some boat to follow her. Double-edged sword. Yep. Good. Yikes. Well, sorry, man. As a go, does my advantage on Arcana check? In that case, he'll probably start tinkering with some magical items. Likes the idea that he can invent things, and I am proficient in Arcana. Not it. Yeah. So yeah, Jasper will start tinkering with back to his. Yeah. No, Well, it depends on the intelligence level of those people. He's got all this items on him. I think it's very important. I think it's very important to determine the nature of this. Well, this gets back into. I could go back to my notes. Story checks out. I can find it. It might be. Did you use any books from others? I got. Right. Oh. No. Nurkad's pretty good. It's just a lousy Nurkad. Well, I don't know, because he was able to use your sword, which was he was able to summon your blade. Yeah, that's right. We had it. So we don't know what happened. So we don't know. We don't. Repsage. I don't like the sound of that.